So I have some good news for everybody. Let's try to bring a smile to your face. Montana becomes the first state to implement net neutrality after FCC repeal. So Montana Governor Steve Bullock, who's a Democrat, signed an executive order on Monday. And so this is obviously good news. They're taking the pretty much the same net neutrality rules that were the case federally, taking those rules, implementing them in the state, and they say for any internet service provider to do business in our state, you have to abide by net neutrality rules. Great. In fact, you can't do a better job than that at the state level. But here's the tiny problem with this, and it's actually not a tiny problem, it's just a problem. Because Ajit Pai and the FCC are so corrupt and they're such douchebags, they actually made it so that they preemptively banned states from doing this. God, they're so loathsome. Holy shit. So not only does the new FCC rule make it so that we don't have net neutrality anymore, they made it so that states are not allowed to do exactly what Montana did. They say you're not allowed to do that. So my guess is that there's going to be another court case over. There's already a bunch of people who sued the FCC over what they did. That's great. But now there's probably going to be another court case over this where Montana says, no, this is our state and we have the right to do that if we want to in our state. And then the FCC goes, no, we're the federal government and you have to abide by what we say. And you're not allowed to do net neutrality rules at the state level. Now, here's the sad aspect of the story. The federal government is going to win that case. Because the way our country works, we have the supremacy clause of the Constitution, which says that federal law overrides state law. That's the way it works. Now, in some instances, that's a good thing. Like when federal law was overriding state law and the federal government said, no, you can't do segregation anymore. That's against the law. And Mississippi and Alabama said, fuck off. States' rights. This is our state. We get to make our own mind up, goddammit. It was good that the federal government sued them and that the federal government won because federal law should override state law. And that's an issue where it's clear that the federal government was right. But sometimes the opposite happens and the states are right and the federal government's wrong. Like, for example, marijuana law. California, Colorado, Washington, they have legal recreational marijuana. So in a lawsuit between the federal government and the federal government's going to win when they say federal law says marijuana is illegal. I don't care what your state law says. You have to abide by federal law. Federal government's going to win that case. And it's sad because, when we look at the particular issue, we go, yeah, but marijuana, we all want marijuana to be legal, so let it go kind of thing. But the reality of the situation is the supremacy clause is real and the federal government does have the final say. And so I think that if this goes to court, you're going to have the FCC win, and you're not going to have Montana have their own net neutrality rules in place. Now, it's possible that, I guess, the FCC just ignores it and lets Montana do it, just because they're like, whatever, tiny state, who gives a fuck, it is what it is. But this might spark, something where other states go, we're going to do what Montana did, and then you'll have what? Well, basically all the Democratic states, however many there are right now, maybe 20 Democratic states that are like, okay, we're going to do that. And then you have a real problem, and then you'll have a giant lawsuit between the FCC and the individual states. But there still, even though this is a kind of a gray area as to what's going to happen, like are the states really going to be allowed to do this? There is one way that the states can surpass all of that, bypass all of that, and dodge even the lawsuit from the FCC over this. They could just set up their own public broadband. Now, while the Ajit Pai's new FCC move bans the states from setting up their own net neutrality rules, it does not ban them from setting up public broadband. In fact, I think Tennessee, is it Chattanooga, Tennessee? They already have it. There's some places that already have it, and it's great. People love it. And then you don't have to worry about it at all. Everything is, everything is free and open, and you don't have to worry about the internet slow lanes being created and people having to bribe the fucking internet service provider to allow their site to run normal speed. So this is a messy issue. But either way, man, listen, I applaud Montana for doing the right thing because even though in the grander scheme of things, on the principle of law, they're incorrect because the federal law does override state law, they're right on the issue. So it's worth it to take a stand even on the individual issue and to just see how it plays out. So we'll see. But look, the hope I really have is public broadband in every state where we don't have to worry about the internet service providers fucking us all.